Welcome to the wonderful world of dodgy movies with your host, movie and TV Mistress. This week I watched It Came from the Desert. I said I would look at something bizarre. I just didn't know that this existed. As a child of the 80s and a early gaming sort of kid, my parents had a Commodore 64, a Amiga 500 and an Amiga 1500. I like to think that those three sort of computers were the early gaming PCs when gaming was in its infancy. That, along with the ZX Spectrum, of course, is a gaming computer PC? I don't know. I never had a ZX Spectrum, so I don't really know what a ZX Spectrum was like. Why are you asking, what does 80s gaming have to do with a dodgy giant ant movie? Well, as a child, my family and I would play a Cineware game that was available on the Amiga called It Came from the Desert. Cineware created a terrific game with awesome graphics for the 80s, inspired by the classic 50s B-movies. Them and It Came from Outer Space. Them, of course, has the giant ants, and It Came from Outer Space has the alien element. I have to admit, I have yet to see these two movies. My plan was that I was going to build up to this one and watch those and review them. I might do it backwards. Now, unlike the game, It Came from the Desert film says on the back, it literally does say, an action-packed monster movie inspired by the cult classic 80s video game. That top bit of the description of this film was what grabbed my attention the other week when I was looking for something to buy at H&B. As soon as I saw that and the title, I was like, I know 80s movies, I know computer game movies are bad, but I have to check this out because I liked It Came from the Desert, the computer game. I like bad movies. And it can't be that bad, can it? Now, this is a modern take on the B-movies. It's not set in the 50s like the computer game was. It's set in modern times with mobile phones and teenagers on dirt bikes. It's more of a sort of meta film. It makes a lot of references to other films, even a made-up film, but still, if you are a computer game nerd and a horror movie nerd, you will notice a lot of the references in this film. As I said, it says it's inspired, and that's the best way to describe it. It is only inspired by the game, the same way that the game was inspired by the 50s films, Them and It Came from Outer Space, and probably a lot of other 50s creature B-movies. See, in the 50s, we had the nuclear bomb, and that meant that everything that got affected by nuclear stuff got large. So you had Godzilla, which was even referenced in the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie. In Them, it was a nuclear bomb goes off in the desert, causing giant ants. And It Came from the Desert, it takes the elements of the giant ants from Them and takes the plot point of a meteorite crashing in the desert and creating giant ants. That's the game. The game is based on both those films in its own blend. This movie is loosely, as I said, inspired by the game, in that it does make reference to the game.
We mixed alien ant DNA with tarantula's DNA with the intention of saving lives.
Wait a minute. How long has this been going on?
Since the 1950s, when the meteorite crashed into the town of Lizard Breath.
Holy shit. There's an actual town called Lizard Breath?
The Doctor explains about Lizard Breath, which is a town from the game. You hear the music from the game on a guy's cell phone, but mostly what this is about is teenagers in a desert getting drunk and then having to fight off giant ants that have been created by the government on a secret army base in the middle of the desert because of a meteorite that hit the desert in Lizard Breath from the game in the 50s. They created the giant ants in the first place. So it's kind of like a sequel to the game, but no.
Ants have all sorts of admirable traits, but their organization and abilities become quite scary once they're as big as a horse. Duck and cover may work in most cases, but we recommend run and evade.
What are you doing? The desert's that way.
I know.
This is Lisa Street.
You gotta put on your big boy pants one day and let her know how you feel, because somebody else is bound to.
Thanks.
Let's party. Your winner has arrived at the party begin! Beers, bikes, women. Today's gonna be unforgettable. And I'm
Lucas, where are you?
We're trapped by this giant ant.
Trapped by a what?
A giant freaking ant!
The subjects require ethanol.
Ethanol?
Ants are incredibly resilient. All we did was splice them with alien DNA and grow them to supersize.
Oh, that's all?
It's about to get way messier.
What does that even mean?
What are you gonna do with that? Swat it to death?
Gotta get out of here.
It really embodies what these movies should be about. The stunt work and ridiculous plot really gelled into the perfect movie. Eat this!
I come in peace. Oh, dude, you're an ant.
The only thing about the film that I really thought was quite interesting, apart from the special effects, which, considering yes it's CGI and it's not in camera like it was back in the 50s or in the 80s, the CGI effects are actually well done. It's not jarring like in Sharknado where you just go, that doesn't even look real. I mean, I'm not saying giant ants look real, but for a giant ant movie it looks pretty decent. And even the stunts and that have like green screen are done pretty well. There's an extra feature on the DVD that lets you see side by side of the same shot with the effect and without, so you can see what was involved and how well they've actually done to incorporate the CGI and the motion capture into the film, which I thought was really interesting and quite well done for a low budget movie. The one thing that I actually did find interesting and felt like they didn't go far enough with was messing with the expectations of the audience in regards to the female lead. Being that the film is inspired by an 80s computer game, I was hoping that they might mess with our expectations in regards to the leads. The two male leads are played as if they are the heroes throughout the movie. They're the ones that you see throughout the movie from beginning to end. It's always those two. But in my mind, Lisa, the love interest played by Vanessa Grass or Grassi, is the hero of this film. She's not afraid. She kicks ass. She kills an ant as soon as she sees it. Then she goes, what's going on? And she shoots and kills the queen ant at the end of the movie. Spoiler, by the way. But unfortunately, they still do that whole thing of, well, she's a female, so she must get captured and have to be rescued by the two males. If they hadn't have done that, and if they had allowed her to have maybe the cheesy one-liner at the end of the movie, which is so stolen from Bruce Campbell. I think it might have made a more interesting character study of that character. Unfortunately, we got these two idiots who are just stupid, and there is nothing likable about any of the characters. I just don't care. The only one I actually cared about was the girl. The main lead that she's supposed to fall in love with, he comes across as a bit camp. So he doesn't look like, it just doesn't seem real to me that he is actually in love with that girl. The other guy is just a drunk jerk who just keeps trying to get alcohol throughout the film. And then any other bloke, because there's not that many girls in this, apart from one other girl who gets sprayed by an acid and burns, all the other blokes are just jerks, including the scientist who explains everything. And that scientist is played by the bully Nick from Teen Wolf. Not the TV series, no, the 1985 movie with Michael J. Fox. So, I will admit that the film is not brilliant, as I've said. However, for a low-budget special effects, CGI are excellent. Also, this is one of the small number of films inspired by computer games to actually be worth a watch. And that's really not hard when you consider that JoBlo usually directs any computer game movie. To be honest, till last week I had never heard of this film. As I said, I grew up playing the game. When I saw the cover and saw the little synopsis on the back, I was intrigued. So I bought it. You don't need to have played the game or seen any of the 50s B movies to enjoy this film. You don't even need to understand any of the movie references to get this film. They're there for the nerds like myself. You can enjoy it the same way that anyone can enjoy a sci-fi movie like Sharknado just by flicking onto it and going, okay, I'm just going to let my brain sit on the side there and I'm just going to enjoy this for what it is. A comedy horror film that's so over the top and outlandish that you can't take it seriously. What amazes me though is back in the 50s, when these sort of films and giant ants and giant bugs came out, people actually liked them, and they weren't funny. They were serious dramas about, oh my god, we're getting attacked by giant ants or aliens. That intrigues me, and I have to say, I really do want to see some 50s B movies to try and understand why. I mean, I've seen the original Fly and some of its sequels, and they play it straight. It's not taking the mickey as any spoof has over the years, taking the mickey out of them. But like I said, I really wish that they'd done a bit more with the Lisa character, made her the hero, and made it more obvious that she was the hero, and let her say the Bruce Campbell line, "Give me some sugar." Because you know what? That line can be delivered by both a man or a woman. And I think it's about time a woman gets to say that to a bloke. I enjoyed it. I like this sort of thing, so I'm easily enjoy it. I'll laugh at silly stuff. I do know that people have reviewed this online and they don't like it. They think it's bad. But then again, in my opinion, the CGI and the story and the plot and the acting, barely with the acting, is better than that of Sharknado. And I know Sharknado is taking the piss on purpose. So, in my opinion, check it out. It's a good film. It'll make you laugh. It's only an hour and a half long, so don't worry too much. And like I say, leave your brain on the side. So, next week, it might be a 50s B movie, or it could be a TV show. So, tune in next week. But remember what I say, folks. Be careful what you watch. There's a lot of dodgy films out there. Bye. Before you go, please remember, subscribe, comment down below for me, and give me a thumbs up. Thumbs down is fine too. Just, if you're going to thumbs me down, can you leave a feedback comment underneath to let me know what I'm doing wrong? Or what you didn't like? Or was it that you just didn't like the film? Sorry to point. Bye.
The desert, unchanged for millions of years, yet witness to a biblical prophecy come true that one day the meek shall inherit the earth.